Hello, my dear friends. I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a licensed business immigration and corporate attorney in Miami, Florida. In today's video, we're going to be discussing with you the questions that you asked me on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok regarding L-1 visa. This is an unusual video today, but I'm sure you're gonna like it. And stay tuned because at the end you will be able to learn how to get a free evaluation of your L-1 visa. Let's go! Alright guys, so I got all the questions here on my phone. I'm gonna go one by one. I got 9 questions from you. Thank you very much for providing that valuable insight into L-1 visa. And by the way guys, let's remember what L-1 visa is. And definitely I recommend you watch this basic video on L-1 visa to understand what are the basic criteria for you to come to the US and work in the US company. But in short, you gotta have one company outside of the US where you worked for at least 1 year in a managerial or executive position. And there's the other company in the US that has the common control between the first and the second company. Okay, so it's the same person who owns both companies, or one company owns the other, and you are transferred to the US company either to start a new office, new business, or to scale the existing one. Okay, but definitely rewatch the basic video to understand it better. And let's discuss it. So question number 1. Is the L-1 visa petitioner allowed to have dual intent? And the answer is of course. If it's L-1A visa, the executive or managerial position, or maybe functional manager in L-1 visa, then definitely you are allowed by law to have dual intent. That means that the immigration officer in the embassy is not allowed to question you as to the attachment to your motherland, to your country. So you don't have to prove that you will come back to your country because L-1A allows you to have the immigrant intent, okay? I would be like super open about it, just saying, hey, I'm gonna go and get a green card. That's the law, but there is some psychology behind it, so be humble. But by law, this is all good, and we definitely can adjust your L1 status to the immigrant, be it EB1C, maybe EB1A, and so on. Question number 2. Is there a limitation how many L1 visa can be approved a year? And the answer to this question is no. There is no quota, there is no limit. As many L1s that we file, as many would be approved. So don't worry, it's not like H-1B when you gotta have a lottery and things like that. So L1 is a very unique visa that's also dual intent and with no limitations. Number 3, can I change jobs under L1 visa? And this is a really good question because it has to do a lot with the criteria under which you get approval for this visa. So under L1 visa, you have the petitioner, which is the US company. And that US company must be affiliated with the foreign company where you worked before. And you remember that affiliation is the common control of both companies through the same ownership. The answer to this question is yes. You can change the jobs only if the other job is also the company that is affiliated with the foreign or American company. It cannot be just any company in the US. Then you have to look at the H-1B, O-1 options and others, okay? But if it's under L-1A, then you have to work in the company that's connected to the companies that you worked before. Question number 4. How much capital is required by the law for a new subsidiary in the US? So this question goes towards the situation when you are coming to the US to begin the startup, okay, to start the new office, the new business. So the question is, how much money should I show that I have to start that business? And the law does not cover this thing. Okay, it does not cover, it doesn't say how much money it should be, doesn't even say it must be significant like in E2 visa. But from the experience, we know that the amount of money that you want to put on an operating account should be equal to the one out of the two. Number one, the first year of operations, so must be enough to operate for 1 year, or until the break-even point. What is break-even point? That is when the company starts making money to support itself. If it happens in 6 months, good. We need to show how much money you need to have according to the business plan. We just can't say, hey, it's going to be $60,000. We got to show the math behind it, okay? Some accounting in your business plan. And of course, for the startup business, we must have a business plan. So make sure that your business plan matches your financial ability to capitalize your new business. Number 5. Can an alien come to the United States on a visitor visa while the L-1 visa petition is being processed? I see no problem. Moreover, if you are in the US on a B visa or even F visa, whatever that is, provided that you satisfy all other criteria of L-1 visa, you can change your status while you are in the US. So from B1, B2 to L1, okay? And your spouse can get L2, and your kids can get also L2 visa, L2 status. No problem if it's pending or if it's being approved while you're in the US. Both doesn't really change anything. It even adds up some benefits that you don't have to go to the embassy. You can start working in the US immediately. And before we proceed, guys, let me tell you, if you want to know your chances for L1 visa, go through the process of free evaluation. Free evaluation is the process that I developed in my company to give you a chance to understand if you have the criteria that fit the L1 visa and if you have the potential. All you need to do is go down below this video, find the link that's going to say free evaluation L1 visa or business visa, click on it, answer all the questions, and within 2 days I will get back to you and let you know if you're a good candidate for this visa, show you the criteria and tell you if there is a potential. And if there is a potential, I will invite you to the complex immigration planning where I will build the strategy for your case. Number 6, can the employees that I must hire be remote workers? Absolutely. No problem that they're remote, as long as they are US employees. Definitely for the startup business, for the new company, you can use the resources of your foreign company, the company outside of the US. And many times we use those employees to show that the company can support itself at the end of year 1. However, those employees that are in the US who are remote, is not a problem, as long as we can explain how the interaction is going to go between the company and those employees. Number 7, would we be eligible for L1 if we have 15 employees between 2 of our corporations and we do not withdraw any salary from the business? This is a very narrow situation, so the question is, a potential client has 2 companies outside of the US. And I believe they outside of the US, because there could be 2 companies, one in the US, one outside, but I believe we have 2 companies outside. And between those 2 companies, we have 15 employees. And why 15? Well, because these people watch my videos and they know that Stanislav requires at least 15 employees in your foreign company. We have 2 companies, let's say 7 and 8 people working in one and the other, and the owner, and it says we, so I believe it's a wife and a husband, and we do not draw any salary. We have 2 problems here, guys. Let's discuss them. Number 1, we have to show that we have 15 employees under our direct control. And we can show it only if we work in a certain company, in a certain business, and those employees, they report to us one way or another, through the managers, directly to us. So if we have a company that's a different entity, then they have to report to the CEO, let's say, in that company, because we can't be CEO for both companies. I mean, I guess we can, but by the papers, that's not going to be full-time employment. okay? But we have to show full-time employment for the past year in a foreign company. Those two problems, they're kind of the two sides of one problem, because we have to be employed in the company and get the salary, because the salary is one of the ways to show that we've been employed for at least a year. So if we're not employed, then we cannot show the 1 year requirement. And number two, the number of employees. We need to make sure that those employees work in one company. Do what you gotta do. Transfer those employees in one company. Make sure you work in that company for a year, and that way we can then show that you satisfy the criteria under L-1 visa. Okay, we have two questions left, number 8 and number 9. Number 8, my nationality is Chinese. If my business has been established in Italy or France for more than 1 year and I want to set up a startup in the US, am I eligible to apply for L-1 visa? Absolutely. Guys, there is no requirement that your company should be in your country of citizenship, okay? It could be anywhere in the world outside of the US. That's the minimum requirement that we need to follow. So make sure that you understand that you could be Chinese, you could be Indonesian, you could be from Australia, from Germany, but your company could be anywhere. We have those situations quite a lot because many of you, like international entrepreneurs, you guys start business here, there, here. So it doesn't really matter. Being a Chinese with a business in Italy is not a problem. And the last question, guys. I have a company in Turkey and I want to open an office in the US with an L-1 visa. Can I get a green card with EB1C after I open the office? Absolutely. Again, Turkey, Greece, Algeria, Egypt, Israel, doesn't really matter. As long as you have a company outside of the US and you have 15 employees in that company, you work there for a year in an executive or managerial position, meaning you control the people, control the company, and you want to open up a startup business here in the US and you control both the companies, you come here, we get your L-1 visa for the business plan, you go for 1 year and you gotta have at least 5 employees at the end of year 1, 5 American employees with the structure. You at the top, maybe 1-2 managers and 3 to 4 people who do the work, okay, who are operational administrative employees. And that way we can extend your L-1 visa for 2 more years. And once you get to 8 people working in your company with 2 or 3 managers, and the company is self-sufficient, meaning it can pay all the salaries and exist without any additional money coming into the company, that's the time to switch to EB1C. The earliest we can do the switch is 1 year after the establishment of the new office, basically after the first L1 extension. So make sure you understand those basic rules. Smash the like button for this video because you loved it and you loved the content in this video. And also don't forget the free evaluation. Free evaluation is below this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.